I have one of these washers, clothes washers that don't spin. Right here where it says rinse and spin. If I put the setting to there, it would not rinse and spin. However, around these settings, the agitation does work. So this is the washer. We had it for at least maybe close to 20 years. This is how it looks. Very simple and basic. I bought this because it had a nice capacity, and at the time it was one of the better ones. It's supposed to take out the water right here. It doesn't do anything, it just stays quiet. You can see it just stays quiet. And also, if I go here, it should start to spin. Just stays quiet. Agitation should work though. When it used to be filled with water, it would agitate because it would go to the right level. So I did my research. Research shows that it might be due to a broken switch, which is located right there. And when I looked at the switch, I said, this switch looks a little odd. Looks a little funny. I did when I saw the film, it showed the guy taking apart the screws and stuff. But then I looked at it and go, what's going on here? And it's the switch is already broken off. So if you look closely, the bracket here where the screws go in is completely broken off. And I said, oh, here's the switch. Now this switch is only works at the spin in the rinse cycle. First to drain the water, and also to spin the machine. So I've already done it, but the machine was filled with water at one point. And so what I did was, just to test that theory out, I moved it over to the rinse here. Oops. No, back to the spin here, sorry. And I pulled it out. It's not spinning. But if I took the switch and then I pushed it down, you can see the machine starts to make noise and it starts to spin. So I thought this machine was toast, and we had to get rid of it, maybe buy a new one. We're worried that we need to get a new washer, and I said, oh, another big expense. But it just turns out this thing just needed to be fixed. So I'll show you how I fixed it. Very simple. First I'll begin by pulling out the power plug. Then open up the machine again. And you can see that the brackets are here. And it's gonna, when I pull out the screws, the brackets are gonna, which has broken, going to fall out, and it's gonna go to the bottom of the washing machine. So what I'll do is I'll take these screws out carefully. I need to use my other hand, which is holding the camera at this point, to get it out, and I'll just fix it. You can see I use this just a regular screwdriver, and you can see closely here. Basically, these brackets snapped from this side. And this is where the screw goes in through here, this way, and they were here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this these two stuck together onto this. Now the glue that I use is this the Gorilla Glue Clear Grip. Now this glue is pretty toxic. It's really smells. It's just like that same glue that hobby glue that you might use. So basically you just put a little dab here very strong. Trying to do it one-handed. Yep. Not too much. Little dab over here. Not too much. It's very sticky. It's almost like the hobby glue. Okay, so I'm gonna get both of them stuck on, and we'll get back to it. Alright, so I noticed that when I was working with this, the Gorilla Glue was good, but it needed a little more, so I added more Gorilla Glue. This is not Gorilla Glue that you see around it. It's actually silicone. I've used this is silicone is still wet. I've used silicone before for many uses, and silicone is excellent. I try to use a twist tie like this. I seen this on the net. They said to use a twist tie because these have a tendency to split open too. Let alone this, the screws falling out from the bracket and the bracket cracking. So these are pretty delicate. So what I did is to make sure that the bracket still doesn't break after the Gorilla Glue holds tight, I'm gonna let it dry out. I put silicone around it. That's just a little bit of insurance. It looks like quite a bit, but for this use, it's quite enough. I didn't want to use too much. I don't know if the bracket will fit back in there again if I use too much, but just enough to keep a good hold, and that looks like it will hold pretty well. So I just needed to wait until it dries, until I put on the screws again. So I'll show you, that's where it is, that's where it's going to go. And this is the silicone that I use. They're not my sponsors or anything, but just regular silicone from the store. And you just liberally apply on the area that you want sealed and not to open up again. And the stuff is pretty good once it dries. I actually use silicone to sometimes to fix broken slippers, shoes, especially in the bottom area where it's rubber. Make sure it's tight, held tight, and then just apply the silicone, and it will keep all the moisture out, keep the shoe in place. This is the switch, which totally cracked, so I put some caulking on it, and I put these screws in there just as a test. They will go where these two holes are. I don't know what this is. I looked around, it came out when I pulled it a little further, but there doesn't seem to be a place for this, so I think it just goes in there. Yeah, I really don't know what this air venting hole or something like that is for, but okay. So the caulking has set. When I put the screws in, they don't split anymore. There's enough glue, Gorilla Glue, that I used to put there. Everything looks pretty good. So I'm going to just put these two screws and attach the switch, and we're going to give it a test run. Okay, this is pretty much in. I'm going to make sure it's not on so tight. Then we'll give this wash machine a test run. So I put it onto this cycle here. I pull the knob out. And then we have some laundry here. The water is going in. Here's a new switch in there. Looks pretty good. Almost brand new in there. And it's gonna work. This always would agitate. It never had a problem. This switch doesn't do the protection for the agitation. The agitation will always go. This is only for the rinsing and the spinning, because when it spins so fast, you can really hurt your hand. So this is the safety switch. When you pull it up, the lid, to open this, it will stop spinning. So it seems to be working fine. We'll wait for the agitation to start, and then we'll look for the spin cycle later. You can see it's agitating. This switch doesn't control that, as mentioned, so it's still works. This never had a problem. It was just the spinning and the draining of this liquid, the water, that was a problem. As you can see, the water is now rinsing, and if I lift this up, it will stop working, because now we got the switch fixed. It now works really well. It's at the rinsing cycle now. So the water is being rinsed out, and I could already feel it going to the spin cycle already. You can see the machine. It starts to shake a bit. That's not me shaking the camera. It's the machine going into the spin cycle. Wow, this thing spins pretty bad. I think the load is still a little wet. So you can see I can lift it up. It was spinning. So I think it's a pretty much of a success in fixing the button. The button for the lid. Okay, here it goes once again, more spinning. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you liked it.